We live.
Not that loud. So anyway, this is like every time we start, we like to shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, and we like to understand that we are in an impactful scenario for the public.
Absolutely.
What you're going to hear, whether you're listening or watching, is going to be very important to your mental.
Okay.
Okay? And you can clap, you can jump,
Shout,
you
scream.
can shout or scream.
Even
But
dance.
the information that you're going to get, these tips, tricks, and game, GAME,
Mm.
is going to be very important.
Absolutely.
And we have someone here that's very special to us. We have someone that I want her to introduce herself because I be messing her name up. Facts. But the Mayo family, the Mayo family, the Mayo family.
Shout out
But
to
I'm
the Mayo
gonna,
family.
shout out to the Mayos.
Out.
Lord Jesus, shout out to the Mayos. But I'm gonna give her opportunity to introduce herself to the Reach Report. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thunderous applause.
Absolutely. Deserved.
What's
well
up,
deserved.
Reach Report people? How y'all doing?
They responding. I see it in the comments. I got you.
Right.
So, my name is Elasia Mayo. Today is a great day. I'm seeing a new year, a new chapter, bringing in year 29 with two special people. So, shout out to y'all for having me here.
Absolutely.
I'm from the 219 area, from Maryville, Indiana. How far we want to go?
No.
How far we want to go?
Go deep. Go.
Okay, I'll just tell y'all a little bit about myself while we're here.
Mhm.
So, I'm from Maryville, Indiana. I graduated in 2014 from high school. I went on to Purdue University to get a degree in mechanical engineering technology
Big time.
with a minor in organizational leadership and supervision. So that is my stumping ground. That is my background. I worked at Frito-Lay, PepsiCo, as a supply chain leader and manager. Did the graveyard shift, did the first shift, the second shift, all the shifts. So I got some experience with that. Factory life, it was different, but it was rewarding. I learned a lot. I learned how to lead people in real life, develop relationships and connections. And honestly, developing relationships with people was probably the best part of the job. Because honestly, I was babysitting adults, but I got to connect with them. I got to know who they were, get to know their families and what they did and what they brought to the table, and also push them. I was a hands-on leader, and so I learned a lot in that space. And that's just the type of person I am. That'll even take you further into how I do business today, just being hands-on and wanting to be a part of people's lives and journeys and processes. So, but yeah, so after that, we about to go on a roller coaster ride. Y'all ready?
Yes.
I'm ready. Come
Okay.
on. I'm already
Yes.
buckled
I'm,
in.
So-
I'm in.
I have a crazy background. So 2 years working full time as a manager. Actually, a year in, I'm like, okay, let me go back, get my MBA. So I'm in my MBA program. I'm writing this paper. They're like, hey, so what is your 5-year plan? What I'm doing now is not on the 5-year plan, just so y'all know. But I'm like, oh, I think I want to go to school for music therapy. Two totally opposite ends of the spectrum. But I've always been passionate about music. I'm a singer. I don't play really any instruments. My vocals, that's my main instrument. But I've always been passionate about music. And so I went back to school for music therapy. I moved from Indianapolis, the Indianapolis area, to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I went to Oral Roberts University. So I did music therapy for about a year and a half. And then I took a break for mental health. May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. So I also want to shed light on that. Like, if you need to take a break, if you're feeling burnt out, I just want to go ahead and say it's okay now.
Yes, it is.
Before we even move
agree.
forward,
I agree.
it's okay not to be okay. And there are resources out there. There is help. There are people that you can talk to get help. So, but anyway, I took a break due to mental health reasons and never went back. That break turned into like, oh, I'll wait another year. Oh, I'll wait another year. And it just never happened. And so in my time in Tulsa, I became the operations manager for an e-commerce business for Greek organizations. They created custom apparel for the Greeks. So that was what I did for the next couple of years. And so even in that, I got my experience in sales. I got experience in talking with people on the other side of the world, new cultures, new people, new things. And so I'm just getting exposed to a lot of stuff. And after that time was over, I left that job and I didn't have anything else. So it's just like, okay, I don't know if you all are believers out there, but the Lord was just kind of like, use your skills to make some money, basically. I've never been in entrepreneurship. After working in a small business, I always said I will never, and I mean never, own a business. And so the Lord was just like, yeah, I got you. So you're going to use your skills to start your own stuff. And so here I am, you know, a few years later or even months later, like saying I'll never do this. But now I'm put in the position of I don't have a choice. And so that's how I got started in entrepreneurship. And it had nothing to do with music. It had nothing to do with engineering. I took skills like email management, project managing, and I just so happened to throw content creation on there because that was just, I needed another thing. I needed that spark, and it was becoming huge. And so I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out. And I got my first gig from a friend. She was like, hey, I know you're trying to start your stuff. You said something about content creation. Can you fill in for me and do some behind the scenes work for me? I'm like, yeah, I guess. It's just me and my iPhone. Never took content of anybody, never had any experience in that. I'm like, cool. But that was the thing that got me started. I loved it. I was like, oh, maybe I do love being behind the camera. Maybe I do love, capturing these moments. And so that is how today, we're just going to fast forward, the Lalex Creative got started. And that is a business helping small business owners, creatives, brands get their content out there because you have a story, you have a brand, you have something that the world needs. And so my job is to help you tell that story. And so that's a little bit about me. We've gone on a journey for the last 5 years or so, but we're here.
Yeah,
and I'm grateful.
Awesome. That is awesome. I'm just, oh boy.
I got too much to say.
Oh my goodness. I'm just
I can't even
sitting
say
here.
it all.
So I'm going to say this. I know her parents. I know her father very well. And he is the epitome of entrepreneurism. Yeah. He is the epitome of entrepreneurism. So it's in your spirit.
It's in me.
I believe it's in everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to go back a little bit. Can I go back a little bit? Okay. I'm just going to go back a little bit. It was either the second or third, I can't remember, Dreamers Conference that we had. And those who don't know, we've been doing it for 9 years or whatever. So I remember I had the opportunity to speak, and I looked up the term freedom. And I might be changing the meaning and a little bit, from the original research of it, but it was not something that was, it was a different meaning than I thought.
Yeah.
Right? So freedom doesn't necessarily mean like being independent, to, slavery or being independent to the government or whatever the case may be. It was having the independence to start a business. Having the independence to become an entrepreneur was where freedom original meaning came from. Free to strive in your own business. Okay? So when I think about that, I think about how, sometimes God put you in a situation where you'll take off running down one road, and God has got this alternative avenue for you to travel down. You just don't realize that he's preparing you for it.
Right.
You can't travel down the same road at the same time because it's a situation where what he wants you to have when you get to this road is what you need to get while you're on this road.
Correct.
So while you're on this road, he is molding and preparing you for the other one.
Yeah.
So the feeling that you got when you did that work for the young lady was what God wanted you to experience.
Right.
He wanted you to experience at the time you did, when you did, and how you did. He didn't want you to have that before that because you wasn't prepared to absorb it the same way.
Right.
It was like an enlightening moment for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I dealt with the same thing. I went to school for something way over here and came way back over here. And I tell people to this day that my business was a blessing, truly a blessing. I felt like, I wanted God to put something in me that I would be able to do for a long time. Yeah. And that it wouldn't be labor intensive. It wouldn't be something that I feel like, everybody know me as the restaurant guy. So restaurant is backbreaking work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I will always say, God, give me something where, I'm going to be using my mind. I'm going to use computers, technologies, and different things to be able to grow my business. And when I did it, I'm talking about day one, I had that same feeling that I knew this is what I wanted to do, and I'm going to ask my son because I always ask him, like, is he looking up to me or is he looking outward at the things that he enjoyed doing and it's just tied to some of the things that I've already done. So I'm going to ask him, like, how did those moments come to you? Was it a moment as a young person being able to see for what it's worth, or was it before school, after school, during school? Like, how did that moment come to you?
I don't know if I feel like I told this before, but similar to your story, I feel like I was a part of graphic design because this is how it. I'm gonna start over from the beginning. One day I woke up. We at the house. I tell my dad, say, "What do you want to be when it's time to go to college? What you gonna go to college for?" He's like, "Don't tell me now. Go downstairs, research, come back in an hour, write it down." Right now, mind you, at the time, he's freshly getting into graphic design. So even for him to say this, quick segue, but even for him to say, man, that's a blessing, it got me thinking, because I'm like, for him to just be blessed with this skill set when he was in a totally different lane, and then a byproduct of having a son to just be fully immersed in this lane is only a gift from God. Right. Because you wasn't even supposed to be nowhere entertaining any of this at all. Neither one of us, let alone your lineage. You had somebody that can, keep it going. But he sent me downstairs. He say, do the research, come back upstairs. And me doing that little research, writing it down, it stuck. It really did. But I would say to an extent, it was just one of those, like, okay, because mind you, at the time, I'm an athlete as well. So it was kind of one of those, okay, that's what I'm going to go to school for. But I didn't really think too far into it. I'm like, oh, it's cool. You could be creative. I kind of had a gist of it. Mm-hmm. But it was just really, really surface level. So fast forward, I want to say 5-6 years from then, I'm in college. I'm pursuing a graphic design degree, and I'm also playing football. But then I tear my ACL. So I tear my ACL, and at the time I had just gotten a student refund check. I can't really do too much, and I have this money, so I'm like, man. And it was that time of reflection. I'm like, you know what? I'm here to be a graphic designer. What am I getting out of this? Yeah. Right now, at the time, the most I could do was make you a little icon for $20. And I'm like, he laughing because that's the truth. That's where I started. $20, logo, this, that, you know what I'm saying? A little graphic. I'm like, this not gonna be able to feed me. Somebody else, let me, how can I make this make sense? So I dove all the way in. I tied my boots up and really got in that water, And it took for me to, like you were saying, get those opportunities, just like, like, how can I make this be a resourceful? How can I use this gift or this skill set to help others? And seeing it happen real time and again, from 8 years now, it's still like, it's a refreshing feeling every time I come across somebody where they're like, man, I didn't know you made that, or man, like, you've helped me so much, or just having that rapport with people to know this, like, this is not a gift that should be taken for granted or is taken for granted. I take it very serious and close and dear to my heart because I know how impactful and how it's grown so many different pockets of business and entrepreneurship.
That's good.
Yeah, awesome. So I want to go back to you, and I know I'm asking the question. I'm not supposed to be asking the questions, but I'm enthused, okay? My mind is cranking, okay? And I want to ask you, like, you went to Purdue,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Purdue. Like, tell me how that experience was for you, and then how did it evolve you to the person you are today?
Who? Purdue. So the thing is, that experience, I think I learned a lot. I think, let me slow down because my mind's going. I think to go to Purdue and be able to graduate from Purdue is a huge thing.
Yes.
And I don't think my mind had wrapped around that at the time of graduation. It's just like, okay, like I did my work, I went to classes, did my labs, all these things, and I passed. And every time I say mechanical engineer, it's just like, it's like this wow factor. And I think it's because during that time, I did it just because. There was no love behind it. There was no passion behind it. It was, hey, go to school, get a degree so you can get a good job so you're not broke. But honestly, going back before I even got into Purdue, I wanted to go to school for music. And so there's always been this creative inside of me. Like there's always been that I want to create music or whatever the case may be. And so because I put that aside and decided to pursue engineering, I don't think that I was my truest self at Purdue, honestly. But I will say, almost like you said, God takes you down certain paths for a reason. And so, though I did not pursue music at that time, while I was at Purdue, I gained a ton of leadership skills. I was a part of a Greek organization. I got to do leadership in that, connections, networking, all of those things. I learned how to think. Because if we're being honest, that's what engineering is. They're basically teaching you how to think, how to look at things from a different perspective. And so I gained that knowledge. And I think how that transfers to today, now I'm able to look at situations or look at scenarios from a different perspective than the normal eye because I have that background in engineering. So though I was not my truest self there, or I don't think I was really walking in my purpose there, I still gained a ton. I gained not even just knowledge and skills, but relationships too, that I'm able to hold on still to this day. And so, yeah, it was a journey. I think maybe even halfway through, I called home. I was like, "Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm coming home." She's like, "Well, what you gonna do?" I was like, "Well, I don't know." And so I think also at Purdue, I learned to be committed. I learned to be resilient. Though I didn't have an interest in it, though I didn't like what I was doing, I look back to that moment today. I did a hard thing. Like, no shade, but I didn't go to school to study, I don't know, some type of art. Like I was in physics, chemistry, all these like quantum, like it wasn't easy. And so I don't know how I got through, but I think I learned how to think, how to push through, how to be resilient, how to be committed and determined. Like I think those are the characteristics that I gained from that time that is able to show up now that pushes me in entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is not it's not easy.
No, not
and
at
so
all.
here I am again at something that's not easy. But when did I graduate? 2018. Back though, I'm able to bring that to today. You know how to persevere. You know how to push through. You know how to think. You know how to get something done. It doesn't matter how hard it is. It doesn't matter if you have to stay up late. You've gone through that, and so I'm able to pull from that to just get through life now.
Exactly.
So
And it's so great. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to say this quick point. And it's crazy that you say that, because me and my dad, I don't know if it was earlier. No, we at the beginning of the week. It was earlier last week. I was telling him, and I was like, a lot of times I feel like God send us through, like say that, okay, this is the path God is paving for us, right? And at the end of the path is our blessing. Now, as I'm walking down this road, if God has the leisure to say, "Oh, you're not equipped, make this left, veer off," and I'm gonna teach you something when you make that veer, so you can get back over here.
Yeah.
That was that season that you were going through, and whether you felt like, oh, I'm not walking in my purpose. In reality, you walking in your purpose that was destined by God, because he's still while you think you walking straight, he's still tugging you back over here. Like, yeah,
Right.
I'm still bringing you back to what I asked for, but you got to pick this up and this up
Yep.
and this up along the way.
Mhm.
And that's it's so important to discern that mindset, because then you start having more appreciation for those small wins and those small opportunities to learn and adapt and equip yourself for times to come.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. God it's more simple than some people make it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just understanding if you're walking in God's will,
Mm-hmm.
because confusion is not of the Lord.
At all.
You know what I mean? So we get to a certain, we're trying to figure it out, and God is like, I'm simplifying this process for
Mm-hmm.
you. It's step by step, moment by moment, second by second.
Yeah.
And it's really just aligning yourself with having those feelings of, hey, back in the day we would say, oh, I felt like I should do this, or I felt like I should do this. I don't say that no more. I say the Holy Spirit told me.
Yeah.
The Holy
Yeah.
Spirit told me to take this step, open this door, do this, do this, do this. As you become more obedient to it, the steps become easier and easier and easier for you.
Absolutely.
When you're young, you it's like so blurry to just, I don't know, left, right, front, back. I'm so confused. But as you get older and you start to mature, you start to see it easier, become easier and easier and easier. The emotion that you get from what you did was the Holy Spirit giving you relief of feeling good about the purpose of how you became who you are to this point, and then how you were able to see that this can become a way and a means of, making money
Right.
and taking care of my needs, and making enough income to be able to be exactly who I want to be and feel this way at the same time.
Yeah.
That was my whole thing, is that I want to feel this way, and I want this feeling to take care of my family.
No, for real.
You know what I mean? And when it does that, you like, oh my God, I feel so good.
Mm-hmm.
I have had ample opportunity to go back into the workforce, to maybe, hey, consider a job here, consider a job there. And it's like the gains that God give me, just I can't turn back now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I have people through LinkedIn that message me like, we can hire you right now. And
Today.
I'd be like, I don't think you know who you're talking to. How did you get my number? I thought I cut all that off on LinkedIn, and I don't want to be rude in that kind of fashion, but I'm confident in what God has put into me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel that I'm taking the necessary steps, and I can feel deep down inside that I'm taking these steps for a reason. And then to be able to see my son he don't notice it like I notice it.
Mm-hmm.
Like his steps from deciding that he wanted to even make a design on Photoshop or Illustrator. Like his steps is like me stepping from here to that door.
Yeah.
He don't realize that his steps is that big. He just looking at it like it was just in the moment. I did this and that, and I'm looking at it from the outside like he don't know that he just took a 6-foot step in the right direction.
Yeah.
So if he's doing this day to day, like he is gaining grounds where he's going to be so far in 2 years, so far in 6 months, so far in 4 months, that I tell him every time, like, you don't even know.
Yeah.
Like the things that you're doing and the software that you're mastering, it takes people long time to master those software. And they don't have the ability to do it because guess what? They may be stuck to a 9-to-5. They may be doing something that they really don't have the same passion in.
Yeah.
But your passion is in what you're doing every day. Oh, you are making huge grounds because you've done 20-something logos in however many weeks. So if you love doing logos and you're doing them that many, you're going to be good.
Right.
You're going to be good at making
Exactly.
logos because for every person that needs you to do it, You're doing it. You're going through the softwares. You're clicking at a fast rate. You're going through the software. Everything is advanced. And if you're missing anything and you gain it within that logo, that's the next 5 logos of skill set that you might not have used in the past 10 logos.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So you don't even realize that minute step that you just took to gain a little more knowledge than what you have is just pushing you so far ahead. And I think that, sometimes we have to come outside of what we do every day to be able to, in the month of May, take your time and just sit back and look at what you've done.
Yeah.
And that's hard for a lot of people is to come out of your norm and just sit back and, I'm just tell this testimony. One day, I pulled up in front of my house, and it was maybe 8 o'clock at night. And when I pulled in my driveway, as if I didn't live there. So I took one of those moments of just coming outside of myself as if someone gave me an address and I just drove up to this house. And when I pulled in my driveway, I just started crying. Just like how God had blessed me and I didn't even realize it. I had to take a moment and was like, if I was someone else, I would be like, kind of like, wow, this is a beautiful home. This is a beautiful situation that I would want to be a part of. And that me and wanting to be a part of was already mine.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So it took a moment. It just took my breath away. And sometimes if we want to talk about people, what they need to do in the month of May, that is one right there I'm going to throw in the pot. Take your time. Pull up to just the environment that you have built for yourself and take a look at it as if this was your first time coming here. You would be like, man, like, I don't even know how I got these TVs on the wall. I don't even know how I got this furniture. I
don't want to start saying too much.
I'm serious.
But if I tell you, okay, I am
Go
not.
ahead.
I don't even want to make it seem like I'm trying to be braggadocious or nothing like that. But in the past 2-3 weeks, I done bought 3 TVs, got a new car. My daughter got a new car.
Come on.
There's groceries in my house. My bill's not past due, so it's just like to that same point. It do take me. I do my self reflecting on Sundays because I wake up early. I think I get it from you. That's another subject though. I wake up early, and I wake up. I go to my computer, might check my email a little bit, and I just kind of like reflect in my living room. I'm just looking around. I'm just thinking, and it's like, you know what? I was living in a 600 square foot apartment at one time. Rent was $300 a month. People was knocking on my door, looking in my door. I had to. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was a time where I worked at a Dollar General. I had to walk 10 blocks to get home. Yeah. And that's me scraping dollars. It was not, now I got the luxury to work where I want, how I want, when I want. And my price is my price. So to that same point, it's just a testament to staying true to what you believe in. And I think especially with being an entrepreneur, the biggest gripe we have is honestly believing in ourselves. Because when you break that construct in your mind of truly just like sometimes when you get into entrepreneurship and you're trying to create that expertise within yourself, the first thing you gotta break is that doubt of am I an expert? Do I know what I'm talking about? Are they gonna believe me? Soon as you break that habit, I thank God for this platform because that's how I broke it. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Call me if you need one for yourself. Platform that is. But when I did that, man, it was able to put everything more in perspective because now I just have that exuberant confidence where it's like my interaction with you is gonna be impactful. Yeah. I'm gonna be able to curate what your needs, your wants, what problems you're having, and how can I appropriate a solution for you. And it just, the more the repetition and the belief and the confidence and of course prayers behind it.